Hey guys!
We just reached our 2-year anniversary with our NuCamp Cirrus 920 truck camper. We've owned it for 2 years, but we've been traveling full-time in it for a year and a half. We recently recorded a video about why we chose it, and we'll leave a link to it up here.
So in this video, we're gonna give you our honest review of how our truck camper held up over the last 2 years.
We're gonna break it down into 5 pros and 5 cons, but make sure you stick around to the end, where we're gonna have a conversation about our final thoughts about the 2 years that we've had our camper. So it's really hot out today, so we're gonna be doing all of this in the camper.
With the AC.
With the AC.
Let's go inside.
All right, back inside. It's much cooler in here. We're gonna start with the cons, and I'm sure that your number one question is, in the last 2 years, what broke? I'm gonna start with all the little details that we had break in the last 2 years, and honestly, there's not a whole lot of them. The first one that really became an issue was this doorknob. After the first year or so, the door handle started to catch, and the only problem we had is that it would catch open, and we'd get ready to leave, we'd shut the door, not realizing it hadn't latched, and we'd drive around, and the door would slam back and forth. I did take it apart, and I was able to fix it myself. But when we brought it to NuCamp, they just replaced it, plus they gave us a spare for the future, which was great. The other thing that you might notice is just some squeaky hinges. I've lubricated these in the past, and they just continue to squeak, and I think it's because they're actually starting to wear out. So I'm probably gonna just replace them. Not really a big deal. So another hinge that we had an issue with is this. This loosened up and stripped out, so the door was floppy, and I couldn't really fix it adequately. It would be fine for a few weeks, and then it would fall apart again. We brought it into NuCamp for warranty work, and they fixed that, and it's been solid ever since. So I'm not really sure what they did, but it's been really good. Another piece that broke, I should just say wore out, is this awesome screen door. There's a string at the bottom that's in this channel, and it wore out and snapped. It just frayed and broke. And we can restring this door. I haven't gotten around to it yet, but once we do, we can restring it and put it back in, so we are going to fix that.
One more thing. My window tab broke. We use our windows all the time, so when this happened, I wasn't really surprised. It just keeps my window shut. It still shuts fine, and we'll replace it eventually.
Those are all the little details. We did have one larger item that let go, which I'll show you outside. The biggest issue we really had was some delamination right up here. When we were in Texas for about a month, we had the camper off the truck and sitting in the blazing hot sun. It was right around 100 degrees. And there was a bubble forming right up here. It was just starting to separate like this. I think I have some pictures I'll show you. We contacted NuCamp about it. We sent them a bunch of information, all of the pictures that we could gather up, and they said they would cover it under warranty, which was great. So when we finally made it in for warranty work, we found out that they were going to basically just replace the entire side. And during that process, they also replaced the fridge cover, our water fill-up thingy, this thing, kind of all of the exterior plastic, which was really nice of them. So we have all new sides and no more bubble. All right, we're back inside with the air conditioning now. That's everything that we could think of that broke in the camper. All right, as I sit here and edit the video, I realized that I left out 2 items, and that's because we already covered them in previous YouTube videos. The first issue we had was a water pump failure. I wouldn't really consider that NuCamp's fault. It's a short flow pump, and the pressure switch melted and wore out. I simply replaced it and made a whole video about it. The next thing was that we had a problem with our Aldi heating system. The water tank in it cracked. Later, I found out that it was most likely my own fault. I had been using chlorine bleach to sterilize our system, and that's a big no-no. We also made a whole series on that adventure. I'll leave links to both of those videos in the description.
And now we're going to talk about the things that we simply don't like. This is how we make our bed. As you can see, it's pretty loose. And whenever we use our hamper, our blankets and pillow catches in it. We don't really have a solution to this. However, we wish that either the hamper was a little bit further away or maybe a little bit taller. So for now, we just make sure that that everything is kind of tucked away so we can close it all the way in.
All right, I'm the cameraman, but I gotta chime in on this. Yeah, I think that this is probably one of our biggest daily annoyances. It catches the blankets all the time, and we don't even have, this is the factory mattress. This is the original mattress, and I can't imagine if we had like a extra thick mattress in here that was up here, it would just, we wouldn't be able to close these. So I really wish that this seam here wasn't equal with the mattress, because it catches everything. But they look nice.
Yeah, they look pretty cool. The other annoyance that we have is moisture buildup. It's very common in most of the campers. When it's cold outside, you get some moisture. We get ours building up usually around the aluminum frame, which is around the corners. It happens here, happens in wool cabinets, happens underneath the mattress. We make sure that we stay on top of that, and we use a little fan that we stuck underneath the mattress that circulates the air and gets rid of that moisture.
So when Sasha talks about using the fan, all we do is we take this little squirrel cage blower fan and we throw it up under here. And because we have this Froley sleep system, there's this nice big gap. And the air from the fan blows under the entire mattress and keeps it nice and dry. So on cool days in the morning, the first, say, hour while we're getting ready, we'll take this, we'll throw it under there and turn it on. And by the time we're ready to hit the road, it's nice and dry under there and we don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. When it's really cold out, maybe in the 20s, and we're having a lot of condensation buildup in the cabinets, we'll also open all of the cabinets and then position this to blow in various areas throughout the day. Another thing that we found really helps manage our moisture buildup is to crack one of our fans. Let me show you. So this is the bathroom, and at night, when it's cold out, we simply crack this just a tiny bit, like maybe 1/4 of an inch. And for some reason, that really helps reduce moisture buildup overnight, even though it does waste a little bit of heat. So for our last annoyance, while we do love our Aldi heating system, it takes quite a while for it to heat up. We've been in situations where it's been very warm at a low elevation, and then we drive up into the mountains. And when we get there, we realize that we forgot to turn the heat on. And when we do, we're gonna wait a good hour or two before the camper warms up. One of the other issues that we have is that as the camper heats up, most of that heat is coming up through the wall, which makes the thermostat turn off sooner than it should. So the air out here is still cold, while the thermostat is nice and warm. The way we've gotten around that is by using this little fan that we can plug in, and it circulates the air from out here into the thermostat, which kind of gives us a nice even temperature. I think probably the best solution to this would be to mount the thermostat in a central location, maybe like over here or here, away from where all the convected heat is coming. That's it for our list of annoyances and things that broke. And now we want to talk about the things that we still love, even after 2 years.
After a year and a half of living in our truck camper, we still find it very attractive, and we get a lot of comments on how good it looks. We have a sufficient amount of storage. It took us some time to figure out that organizational aspect, but so far it's been working great. And we still have our pantry.
RVs don't have the best reputation for build quality. I'm sure you've all heard the nightmare stories about campers falling apart. We didn't want that to happen to us, especially because it was going to be our home. One of the most important factors that we were looking for during our research process was finding a company that had good build quality and good customer support. Now that we've owned the camper for 2 years and lived in it for a year and a half, we're still very happy with the build quality of it overall. Everything's pretty durable. The cabinets, the framing, and everything else seems to be pretty well built, especially in comparison to a lot of the other campers that we looked at. I'm actually shocked that we haven't had any major issues. Everything seems to have held together pretty well, even though it bounces down the road all the time. The solid construction and double pane windows really help keep it quiet in here. And since we're not always camped in a quiet location, that's one of our favorite aspects of the camper. The Alda system was and still is our favorite feature in this camper.
It's reliable, quiet, and it keeps us warm.
We think it's the biggest feature that sets the Cirrus camper line apart from all other campers on the market. However, I have seen that some other truck campers are coming out with the Truma system. I'm really looking forward to seeing where that goes in the future.
So now our final thoughts.
What are our final thoughts? I don't even know. We've lived in this camper for a year and a half. We've owned it for 2 years, and It was a huge decision for us. We did a lot of research, we did a lot of looking. We spent many days at truck camper places, basically hanging out in the camper and just seeing what we liked, what felt good to us. And this one kept coming to the top.
When we were making lists of things that we like, that we don't like, that held up well or didn't hold up well, we were honestly having a hard time making the lists about the cons. Those little tabs and knobs, I mean, things break. This is a camper. We travel all over the place, through mountain roads.
Campers aren't really designed to live in full-time. I think they're mostly intended for weekend use, and this is an extreme use case. We use it all day, every day. We live in here, we work in here all the time. We're constantly climbing up and down between the beds and opening drawers and doors. We've had other RVs. We've expected it to break more. So when we were coming up with our list of stuff that broke, we were kind of really shocked at how few things let go. A couple of squeaky hinges, and that's really it.
Yeah.
The delamination, it was a common issue. I guess nüCamp knew about it, and that's why when we talked to them, they're like, sure, bring it in, we'll fix it. So that was cool with us. We found out that they don't make the panels, that they buy them from another company, so that there was some difficulty with making sure that everything was exactly as it should be. But that was no big deal.
We're hoping that things will continue this way.
Yeah.
We like nüCamp, we like this camper, we don't want things to break, and this is our house. We love the quality and we love living here.
And of course there's, the risk that you can have a leak and stuff like that. I mean, I try to pay close attention to gaskets and seals, and I try to do as much maintenance as possible, but I've heard so many nightmare stories from people that have major issues, and luckily we haven't yet. There are compromises that come along with living in an RV, especially a little RV. But in terms of the quality and the fit and finish and all of the features that it comes with, we're very happy with it. We're looking forward to another year or two doing what we do, driving around, and it'll be really interesting to see after another 40,000 miles how the camper's doing.
We'll do another review.
Definitely. And as usual, when we do have problems, like when we had our Alta break, we had a couple of our bike rack breaks, whatever, we make videos about it. So if something does come up, we'll be certain to make a video of it. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of those videos. Thank you so much for watching. We hope this video was helpful and answered some of your questions. If we didn't answer your questions, please leave them down in the comments and we'll be sure to respond.
If you like this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to our channel. It really helps us.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye. Looks great.
Do I look beautiful now?
You are fabulous.
All right.
Hey guys. Hey guys.
Oh, I saw a tickle there.
Yeah. I'd say that.
We just passed the 2-year anniversary of buying. We just passed the 2-year.
Maybe you're more excited.
I forgot what I was going to say.
So after living in our camper for a few months, we've noticed that our hamper boxes don't close that easily. No, we didn't. And close it, our blanket and pillows get stuck. But not this time, of course, because we're trying to record and show it to you. Now it's perfect. Of course. Do you want to embrace your wild? Go to travelmotivated.com. Link in the description.